Hey everybody, it's Lou. This is the intelligent community, soul of the city. Two new things we're going to talk about today. One is the ICF tours. We've expanded them, and we're going to be able to take you to different parts of the world to see the intelligent communities, how they're made, what the recipes are, and to get a little taste of some of the most delicious meals in urban development and living on Earth. Second thing is my colleague John Jung has a new Substack piece, and he's going to tell you all about cities in that, and it's a regular Substack contribution. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and find out where you can get it and what he's writing about lately. So with that, from warm and sunny Canada, I've got my colleague here at the ICF and fellow co-founder and chairman, John Jung. John, welcome.
Hey there, Lou. How are you?
No major complaints.
No, that's good. That's good. You got a lot of snow, I hear. We do too.
We did. It's so cold here, the lawyers have their hands in their own pockets, as they say.
That's right. Yeah, me here. I hear that too over here. Okay.
That's right. Anyway, this is probably, even though you're in Toronto and I'm in New York, both intelligent communities, you probably don't want to take a tour this time of year because it is so cold, right? But let's talk a little bit about the ICF tours, because by the time this comes on, we'll have gone to Taiwan again, and you'll have led a tour there. We've got another one coming up in Brazil. We'll be in Curitiba, which I think will also have taken place by the time we do this. But then there's a big one out in Ohio. So first of all, John, why don't you tell us about the ICF tours, what some of the benefits are, and more importantly, how they advance the cause of the movement?
Sure. So, Lou, this started actually quite a while ago. Back when I was heading up economic development organizations for different cities, one of the best ways to develop relationships and to look for opportunities and share best practices and so forth was to take people from one place to another. And so we would go all around the world, Australia, Brazil, Europe, and so forth, and make those connections. And so within the ICF movement, it's the same idea. So what we've been doing is for the last several years, we've been going to places like Taiwan, and most recently in December, we had a large delegation to Vietnam. Yeah. We've been to Barcelona, and years ago, we also did tours of many countries with groups and so forth, as you may recall. But now we have a regular program, so associated with the Smart 21, the Top 7, and the Intelligent Community of the Year, we bring delegations, and sometimes they'll be large, sometimes they'll be smaller, but we'll create an opportunity for a curated program that takes people beyond the normal attendance of a conference. So what does that mean? Well, first of all, the bonding within the group. It starts early. We have a group chat over WhatsApp, and people get to know each other. We share through a delegates brochure who these people are. So by the time they actually meet, they're able to create an opportunity for themselves to meet and maybe share information and so forth ahead of time. Another thing that they do is they tell us what they want and who they want to meet. So we have a matchmaking program that will take place, for instance, in Taiwan. We'll have this matchmaking program the first day we're together. There'll also be an opportunity for matchmaking at the Smart City Summit and Expo. We'll be taking the delegation through a curated program of meetings at these various booths and so forth. But also, we'll be going to site visits. We're going to some company visits, and we're going to some cities. In Taiwan,
different
one
cities.
Of the cities,
right?
Yes, different cities. And one of the cities that we're going to actually spend 2 days and overnight in is Yunlin County, which is about 3 hours south of Taipei. Now, it's not just the Taiwanese delegation. We have, more than 20 people registered for that. And if we can get some of the visas arranged, we might have as many as 40. But in terms of the next one, in Curitiba, where you're going, Lou, you'll have people going there from many of the cities that are trying to get into the Smart 21. Then we have in June, mid-June, we're in Limburg and the Brightlands area, and we'll have a delegation in that location. And then finally in October, mid-October, we're in the Columbus, Central Ohio area, and many cities that are part of that. And then again, next year, around mid-March, we're going to be in Taiwan again. And there will be other cities that we'll be going to with these delegations, as well as inviting people just to come as a delegate or as an attendee of the conference, or as speakers and so forth. So it's a dynamic program. The key benefit is sharing best practices, learning, making contacts, being introduced. From an economic development point of view, it's a tremendous opportunity to create opportunities for investment attraction, for channel sales if you're a company looking for openings. And, in economic development, the whole thing is about relationship building. And that's why the delegations are so important. They're much more intense than just attending a conference.
Right. Yeah. And as you say, it's curated, it's immersive, and you're seeing all these places. And if you're reading about some of the cities, from the nominations, the awards program, all the writing we do, and reporting that we do, then you'll see these things and see these places rather, and you'll be taken around by the people who actually work there. I didn't realize, actually, I didn't mention that in June there is an opportunity to go to the Netherlands and to go to the Brightlands Limburg area, and so there's going to be a tour there, and I've done that one. That's an amazing region. So that should be very instructive.
Well, we'll see you there, Lou.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll definitely be there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. They've got 4 campuses. I won't sell it right now, but they've got 4 campuses that are just percolating with innovation. It's quite remarkable. And I didn't realize we are locked in for 2027 to Taiwan again in March.
Well, we're working on it. One of the things I'm going to be doing when I'm in Taiwan in the next couple of weeks is to make sure that we have that one tied down. Yeah.
Well, we've done it a couple of years in a row, so I don't think it's an issue. And if people want to join these, obviously they can go to our website or they can contact you about 2027 Taiwan to just keep checking the status, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's great. And I know all this, but it's just great to hear it because, what we're doing now is we're taking all of the work that we've done with our awards program, with our accelerator program, all the stuff that we do with our content and communications, and you bring people right there physically. And as you say, I always talk about the lived experience and the soul of a city. You really give people a feel for that. And I should add that, you lead these things, and there's no better teacher for any of us than you. So you've done this a lot of years, and it's really just a terrific experience. And it's also a lot of fun. That's the other part of this, right? It's just like hanging out with people and seeing these cities. It's like, it's like those cruises and tours that you go on, like 16 cities a week. I think that's BS. I think these kind of things where you're actually meeting the people, learning about the culture, seeing how the cities are made, I think that's the real deal. I really do.
And it's not a weak program. It is a very strong program. We meet with mayors, we meet with the top executives, thought leaders in these cities. Even during the summit, we're going to be able to introduce people constantly at the highest levels. Yeah. We look out for each other. It's amazing how these delegations work. I met this person. Really, you should meet this other person, and so forth. It's a tremendous opportunity for people, and I encourage anybody who can take the time. And by the way, in some of these communities, there are other benefits. In the case of Taiwan, they're giving you free hotels. We create opportunities for them to go to banquets and all sorts of things like that. So it's not just all intensive meetings and so forth. As you say, a lot of it is about enjoying yourself, creating relationships, and having fun.
Yeah. And as you say, it's great networking for business. I mean, a lot of business gets done. A lot of relationships get developed that lead to business opportunities. And, not to boast, but we do, connect with the highest levels, right? We've had the presidents speak at our events and attend. We always meet the mayors, spend time with them, the economic development officials, the businesses. So it's really great. And it's really all about cities, as we say. That's a pretty lame segue, but
it's a good segue. Thank you.
Yeah, your Substack is titled "All About Cities," and yesterday, as we were recording this, I spoke with someone in Sunshine Coast down in Australia
Right.
about the new social media ban for 16s and unders in their schools, and we got into what was going on in Sunshine Coast. And in order to prep for that meeting, I read your Substack about Sunshine Coast. Now, obviously I know a lot about it. There's a top 7 city, but I found this really fascinating. There was stuff in there that I actually wasn't aware of about their Robo Coast initiatives, about this great tourist community. I mean, this is like Hawaii. It's in many ways, I think it's better. Now trying to work itself into a digitally transformed economy, building new types of jobs to layer that economy. And so you're writing about stuff like this. You're also, in New York City, our new mayor says he's going to give us fast buses. Well, you write about Curitiba and you say, hey, they've already got fast buses. They've had it for 1,000,000 years down there. So, I mean, so the idea behind All About Cities is what? To tell the story and then to just go a few layers down? Or
Yeah. So Lou, I'm going to take you back to Barcelona. You and I went for a walk in the city. And somebody, it wasn't you, somebody said to me one day, John, you consume cities. And I said, consume cities? I guess I do. I mean, I walk the cities. I prep ahead of time to get to know them. So as soon as I arrive in a city, I have to get to know it. It's like a person. And so many of the cities that I write about, well, in fact, all of the cities I'm going to be writing about, like Sunshine Coast and London and New York and others, these are all cities that I've become intimately involved in by walking the streets, going to all the key places that people will want to go to, and back alleys and other places that people wouldn't go to. But
That's
I
right.
get to know the cities. So it's amazing that, I'm having a shower and I'll think about a city and I can walk the streets in my mind. It's for me, that's what I've done all my life.
I know. And you love it.
Oh, I love it.
You love it. You do consume it. I think, maybe I said that, by the way, but
it could be, yeah.
I remember this is maybe one of the first times we were together in a place. It was Japan in the mid 90s. Remember we went to Tokyo for a board meeting and we dropped down into Tokyo, and this was my first time in Tokyo. And I'm telling you, I live in New York City. You live in Tokyo's a big city.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of overwhelming even for me.
Yeah.
And we started walking, of course. You and I went on a walking tour, and you went down this alley, and you went under this tent, and in the tent you knew that they were going to be serving hot noodles and whiskey, and we were starved. We were quenched, and I'm like, how the hell did he remember that? But you've got that kind of photographic memory.
But
you're right
all about cities was really an idea that I had about telling people in a Substack environment what's going on in cities around the world. And it's not just about each individual city. Some of the articles talk about what's going on in multiple cities. So, for instance, about AI and what people are doing in many of the cities, dealing with digital twins and so forth.
Right.
And I'll be talking about other aspects of what's going on. One of my latest ones is about trees
I
in
saw that.
cities.
Yeah.
And how important are trees in cities? Well, what affected me one time was when I live in Toronto and they had an ice storm, and that ice storm, like you had in the States, killed 20% of the tree canopy. And when you have a city that expects to have trees in the summertime, such devastation, and you can see how important trees are in terms of the ozone layer, and how it affects the urban design of a community and so forth. So I'm writing about cities, but also about things that are necessary or essential in cities. I'll be talking about electric vehicles. I'll be talking about
Good.
transit and so forth, and use different cities as examples. Or I'll talk about a specific city. I did one about London, for instance, one of my favorite cities,
I know it
and I
is.
explained why it is. Or my take on not only places like Sunshine Coast, but places that people never heard of before, like LaGrange, Georgia, or uh, New Taipei City in Taiwan, and so forth. I will talk about, as you called them, no-name cities,
Right.
and explain why people can learn from them, and what's important about learning from a specific no-name city. I think it's a great opportunity for us to share what we have. I mean,
It
I'm
really
I'm
is.
writing these things in other venues. I wrote a book on urban planning called Transformation, Livability, and Opportunities in Urban Planning. And in there, I did the same sort of thing.
Yep.
I published that with Cambridge University Press a couple of years ago.
And
So I've already
you've
kind
got a
of,
couple of novels out too, which people should read because they refer to they have intelligent communities in them. They Some of
yeah,
the characters are places like Espoo, Finland. Speaking of trees, by the way, yeah, 44,000 trees in like Coral Gables, right, which they manage
yeah,
through AI now in terms of their maintenance. So that stuff is all in the Substack, and everybody should read it. And I know they say that when you're promoting this stuff, but everybody should read it. Anybody who's interested in communities, and yeah, the no-name communities, John. Just to close here, are really, I think, the greatest untold story in the history of the world right now as we're living it. It's we talk about hope. I talked about hope in a podcast recently. If you really start losing hope, walk around these places like you and I do, take these tours, read the Substack column. You'll come away feeling as we feel that there actually is hope, that at the ground level, people are living their lives, they're really working hard at their cities, and there are thousands of great places around the world. So, listen, we'll talk more about this, obviously, but
okay.
Ari's given me the let's go sign. But John, thanks so much. And
Yeah.
how do they reach your Substack? How can they get it?
Well, you go to Substack, and it's called All About Cities, and look for my name, John G. Young, spelled Jung, and I think that's how you connect to it.
Yeah, it couldn't be easier. Okay. Well, listen, John, thanks again. And this is Lou Zaccarella, along with our producer, Ari Yates, reminding you that there really is no place like home. To learn more about ICF, go to intelligentcommunity.org, and you can learn all about the tours and much else. Take care, everybody.